Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Megan. Thanks so much for watching. My husband and I are on our TTC journey, and there's been some developments in the last week or so that I kind of want to talk to you guys. Before I get into the whole story on what has been going on in the last couple of weeks or so, please make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell so that you don't miss any updates, because there are going to be more updates coming in the future. And also follow me on Instagram, because if I don't update you guys on YouTube, typically I post a little bit more there, so just make sure you're following me there as well. Okay, so last I updated you guys, I had some pelvic pain. I had a pelvic ultrasound done on actually cycle day 1 of this cycle, and last week I finally got a call from my physician's office on what those results were. And it was kind of weird because I called Thursday and they said, we've gotten the results, your doctor hasn't looked at them yet, so call us back tomorrow, Friday, before 12 o'clock, and we should be able to have the nurse and the doctor look over those results and kind of let you know a plan going forward. So luckily I did not have to call them on Friday morning. The receptionist actually called me and gave me the results, which I thought was kind of weird, but she said that they were normal and that if I still had pain, I could call and get another appointment with him. Now, I read the radiology report before the doctor even looked at it, and there was a decent sized cyst that it said it was mildly complex on my right side. I think it was like 12 by 15 by 10 millimeters. And then there was also another cyst on my left side that also said it was mildly complex, and it was 9 by 9 by 8 millimeters. So I thought it was kind of weird that on cycle day 1 I had these cysts and he was not in the least concerned about them. So I, at that point, decided that I need to see someone who knows what they're doing. And by that I mean a fertility specialist. I have been kind of avoiding calling a reproductive endocrinologist or a fertility specialist just because, like, I've always had this gut feeling that I might have trouble getting pregnant, and I was kind of like in denial that I even would need to consult a fertility specialist. So I've just been putting it off for a really long time. And well, not really that long, but basically since I found out that I have a unicornuate uterus back in May, I've been thinking that it probably would be a good idea to see a reproductive endocrinologist since we are trying to get pregnant. But I was just kind of in denial that that's where our TTC journey is taking us. So after getting that result about the ultrasound from my surgeon's office, I decided that it's probably time just to go ahead and call. I was thinking that it would probably take us a month or two to get in to even see a specialist. So last Friday I called and I got in very quickly. When I called Friday afternoon, they offered me an appointment on Thursday the following week. So not even a full week after I called to make the appointment, they had an opening, and I had already taken today, Thursday, off for a dentist appointment. So I was hoping that I could do my dentist appointment in the morning when it was already scheduled and then go to see the specialist in the afternoon, but they didn't do afternoon appointments. So I ended up having to reschedule my dentist appointment so that I could go see the specialist this morning. And luckily my husband was able to come with me. They requested that he come, but I wasn't sure if he could get off to come with me to the appointment, but luckily he was able to. And he actually, before I even said that they requested he come, he was already on board to come with me, so that was really good. So this morning at 10:15, I met with my new reproductive endocrinologist. Side note, when I was scheduling this appointment, they were super serious. I had to put down a $50 deposit just to hold my appointment spot, and they said like once I would show up for the appointment, it would turn into a credit, but still I was just kind of shocked that I had to put a deposit to hold my spot. And they also made me fill out a really large packet of paperwork, and I had to have that in by Tuesday or they would have to reschedule my appointment. So luckily I got all that stuff in, and my surgeon was able to send in all of my medical records as well on really short notice. And so 10:15 this morning, we met with the new reproductive endocrinologist. So after talking with her, we spent like an hour with her just talking through my history and her kind of giving us her thoughts on everything and kind of a plan going forward. She did do another ultrasound and she didn't see the same cysts that were there. So I'm wondering if they kind of went away or whatever, but she said everything looked good. So the plan that she gave us was that I'd have the ultrasound this morning. We would do a semen analysis, which my husband already did it today while we were in the office. We got really lucky and he was able to do it right then. We already got the results back on the semen analysis and everything was good. I think his count was like 62 million and I think like half of them were moving and then about half of them also had normal morphology. So we were all in the clear on his end. And so now we just have to do a ton of blood work on me to see everything that's going on. So while I was there today, they did a lab draw for the anti-Müllerian hormone, TSH, prolactin, DHEAS level, and then she did a whole prenatal panel. We talked about genetic counseling, and she initially wanted to do the counsel genetic testing, but because we've already done 23andMe with the whole carrier panel, that way we decided that right now we don't feel like we need any further testing because we haven't come up as carriers for anything that 23andMe tests for, and they test for quite a bit of common things. The most common one being like cystic fibrosis, and neither of us are carriers for that. So we just didn't feel like we needed to go through with that. And next Monday, I have to have my progesterone tested, and then there's also some more labs. Let's see. The other labs I have to have done as fasting. I have to do insulin and glucose serum levels. So that's pretty typical. I've had that tested before, so it's not really anything new for me. And then the other big thing that she wants me to do is have a full MRI of my pelvis and abdomen because she wants to make sure that I don't have a rudimentary left horn, which she doesn't think that I do based on the op report and based on looking at the pictures and also the ultrasound today that she did. So she's not super worried that I'm gonna have that left rudimentary horn, but she just wants to double check everything. The other thing she wants to check with the abdominal MRI is that both of my kidneys look normal, because sometimes with unicornuate uterus, you may have an issue with the kidney as well, just because of how everything develops when you're an embryo. So she just wants to make sure everything is good there as well. So after getting all of this blood work and testing done, I'm gonna go back in about a month to review all the results and come up with a set in stone plan. She did say that I can do one cycle with letrozole or Femera, whichever name you want to call it, at the lowest dose without having an IUI, just with the medication. But she thinks that after that one cycle, if we're still not pregnant, then we need to go right to IUIs with Femera and a trigger shot. She told us that she would do 3 IUIs before we would have to move on to IVF. And honestly, we're hoping that we don't get to the point of IVF. I mean, probably everybody hopes that they don't get to the point of IVF, but sometimes it happens. But I'm just not sure how we would even pay for more than like one IUI, much less do 3 IUIs and then move on to IVF. She wants me to be pregnant by May, which is 1 year from my surgery date. She wants me to be pregnant by then, just because the endometriosis can have an effect and it can come back 1 year after surgery. So she basically wants me to get pregnant ASAP, and she's already thinking that the endometriosis that I have may be affecting getting pregnant, because I did have what they call trace-free fluid when she did the ultrasound today, which I had the same thing with the other ultrasound that I had on the 31st. So that is kind of where we are right now with everything. I am on cycle day 14 today, and I ovulated, I think, on cycle day 12, just based on ovulation test. So in a couple weeks, I will hopefully have some live pregnancy tests for you guys, hopefully a positive, so that we don't have to go forward with any treatments. But if we do, I'm kind of okay with it. We wouldn't even probably start doing anything like that until November, just because of where I am in my cycle right now. Like, I'm halfway through my cycle already, and I don't get my MRI until like cycle day 1. And then, oh, I did forget, she wants me to do a blood draw on cycle day 2 or 3 of my next cycle. And on that blood draw, she's going to look at estradiol, FSH, LH, yeah, those 3 things. So I will have to do another blood draw on cycle day 2 or 3. So by the time they get that blood work back and the results of my MRI, it will probably be like mid-cycle this next cycle. So I'm thinking we wouldn't even start doing the letrozole until my cycle in November. So that's quite a bit of ways away, but I'm happy that I actually went to this appointment. I was really hesitant just because we haven't been trying all that long. We did 2 cycles without OPKs or anything back in like November, December last year. And then we've done so far 3 cycles with OPKs that were negative. And then now we're on our 4th cycle. So by the time we would even start medication, it would be like our 6th cycle of really trying hard, using OPKs, tracking everything. So I think that's probably good timing. So that is kind of where we're at, guys. Thanks so much for watching if you've stuck with me this long. I know I've kind of like rambled a little bit, but it was like a lot of information. And even at the appointment today, after I left there, I was like on information overload. So I've taken a couple hours to process everything before I recorded this video, just because it was like a whole lot. And even so, like when I got home, I was trying to schedule my MRI, schedule my blood work for Monday. Oh, and one other thing she wants me to do before we even get pregnant is do a consult with maternal fetal medicine, which is a high-risk OB. And so I had to call them as well and try to get an appointment, but they won't see me or even schedule an appointment with me until they receive my referral. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. But anyways, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a video, and that way you won't miss any updates. Again, follow me on Instagram so that you don't miss anything there as well. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.